Okay.
Yeah.
We'll start in a few minutes.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. So another one in the waiting room.
I know, but I don't want to bother you here with the.
I'll go ahead and throw out if everybody can mute your microphone. There's a little icon there in the bottom left. Make sure you mute unless you're trying to ask a question.
And what we're going to do, folks, we'll start in a couple minutes. People are still coming in. And there we go. People are still coming in. And we'll start in a couple minutes. And everyone, I believe, and you might want to, if you can also look at your email, you may have just received from Teresa. You may have just have received a PDF to open up that has the itinerary with payment plan, a lot of valuable information. I'm going to be sharing my screen and showing the exact same thing. So either you can follow along on your own, or you can just see mine and know that there's still people coming in.
Thanks.
And so you'll see that in your inbox if you don't want to follow along with mine, or if you just want to see that for later. People are still coming in, so we're going to wait just a few minutes. Oop, no message. There we go.
Glenn, why don't you go over the PDF, and then for everybody here, I will share it on your Google Classrooms. I do not have access to the current 7th and 8th grade parents, but I will share that with Mr. Love and Mr. Stewart.
Okay. Okay. Wow, people are still coming in. And Cliff, by the way, I like the hockey. Now, I really love Italy, so we're talking about my favorite place. I'm what they call an Italophile, someone who really loves Italy. I lived there. I was a musician there. But, you know, I see the hockey, and the French Canadian can't help but appreciate it. So listen, we're going to get started. We're a few minutes after 7. It is being recorded, so the people that are arriving late, worry not, you'll be able to see it. I will do a brief introduction, and then we will go through this PDF. I want to talk about the destination, all the inclusions. We don't have a full hour. We've got about half an hour. And so, because I know everyone's time is valuable, and I want to leave time. It's going to be like a Reader's Digest version. Good thing I can speak really quickly. And it's going to be like the Reader's Digest version, but you have everything in print. I also encourage you very much to visit our website. I'm sure many curious parents, and of course, you know that just to be fiscally responsible, you want to take a look at the company with which you're traveling, you know, in 2 years. So just under 2 years, a year and 11 months. So, you know, it's really smart to educate yourself about the company that's representing you, about the company that, you know, Cliff Dawson and Teresa will be working with me very, very closely. We're like the village, right? Plus my team here in Boston that will then be working with our operational land team in Rome. So as I told them the other day, you know, we're booking everything directly by everything is booked by our own booking office in Rome. And, you know, and we've been doing this now. ENCORE founded in about 24 years ago. I'm actually one of the original founders of ENCORE, which is the performance tour division of ACIS. So you will see on our website when you go to ENCORETOURS.com, and you will see that ENCORE, being a division of ACIS, we have this amazing infrastructure overseas, not only in Italy, Central Europe, and in southern parts like Spain and throughout the UK, all over, even into Asia. Just an incredible infrastructure. So even though ACIS has provided primarily high school teachers and their students of many different disciplines with the very highest level of accommodations and educational travel throughout Europe primarily for 50 years, it really built this incredible, working like a wheel, like it was this machine, well-oiled machine, to provide the most incredible educational tours, which now we are really lucky because after 24 years ago, then founded because we were already doing it for some of our special clients, started working with performing ensembles, like symphonic bands, like full symphonies, youth symphonies, church choirs, high school choirs, college choirs, semi-professional choirs, and ensembles. We are well adept with working at pretty much every age bracket, because we know that this is going to be, if you will, a mixed bag, right? Because this is, you have the opportunity as parents as well. And I think that is going to be more information that will be given to you by Teresa and by Cliff during the process of how parents can participate in this tour. And you don't have to travel vicariously through your kids for this tour. The financial backing of the company is incredibly important. Not only do we have the backing of our company, ACIS, a 50-year-old company that has weathered many storms, including the pandemic. However, we have another parent company, which is AIFS, the American Institute for Foreign Study. And we are really their travel division, and they're not only their performance travel division, but educational travel division. And in that role, we are protected by the the funding of AIFS, and luckily by its A-rated several multi-million-dollar insurance policy. So when you are paying into a tour, you are paying into a tour that is that all the funds are protected, right? It is so important. And in that, you're able to know and rest assured that you've got the proper insurances included, that you've got proper coverage, indeed, for everything during the tour. Also, it's really important to know that your not only are the funds insured and everything provided, but that you have an amazing team here in the U.S. preparing the way for the tour in 2026, and also abroad, which is really important. It's important to know that while you're there, you are okay. Everyone can see this PDF. Everyone should be able to see that. Someone sing out. Yep. Okay.
You can see it.
Good. Thank you. And knowing that you've got our services literally 24 hours a day while you're traveling, which is really amazing. And it's another thing that sets us apart from other tour companies. Sometimes there are companies, unfortunately, that you get to the airport, you're checking in for your group booking, because group bookings by air are a little different from how you might book them for yourself individually. So, and then there's a group desk and they're checking the group in and they say, oh, well, the flight's canceled, or, oh, we don't have a record of this. You're not alone. Likely with a group of this size, anticipated size, we are going to have staff there at the airport, probably me. I'll probably meet you at the local airport so we can get you checked in, really well organized, making sure that all instruments that are going to be carried on, more logistics to be handled, and that you will learn about if, depending on what instrument your child plays, all of that coordination of that we've taken care of in advance. You guys arrive at the airport. We very efficiently check you in, and you're on your way to Italy, because your tour, when you start looking at, if you've opened your own PDF, you start looking at price tags and you say, okay, what am I paying for? This is really all inclusive, and it's really, really great. Yes, you do pay for that 24-hour service. You've got people called duty officers here in the States for emergencies, overseas for emergencies, 24/7. No one would ever experience anything like a lost or stolen passport, or even, God forbid, the need for medical assistance without having one of our own members of our team overseas, for instance, then coming in and assisting and helping. You've got that. You've got round trip airfare into Venice and back from Rome. You've got 7 nights hotel stay in Venice, Florence, and in Rome, always in really high standard, generally 4-star hotels with many amenities, great staff, and terrific morning breakfasts that are included. You've got the use also, the services, 1 per motor coach, of a bilingual tour manager that works exclusively for our company and is assigned out of our London office, where they're trained, no matter what their destination expertise is. All trained together for continuity of services, because the tour manager that's one each bus is the educator on the tour. They always give valuable and incredible commentary about the next destination that you're going to go to. In addition to that, they're the logistics manager of the group. They take care of hotel check-in, hotel checkout. They take care of checking with local restaurants for your evening dinners, because your dinners every night are also included at local restaurants, eating local cuisine, eating real Italian food. And you're not going to go anywhere that you're going to get better food. Okay, maybe France, but it's really incredible. The quality of the meals every night, 3-course meal with dessert. Beverages are under own arrangement, as is lunch every day, and you're spending money. In addition to that, all entrances in the itinerary are included in the price of the tour. Of course, your deluxe motor coaches, and also there's going to be another vehicle included for this group, because you're a symphonic band traveling. And that's going to be a professional instrument truck that's going to be running in tandem with the 1 to 2 or more buses that are all traveling together. I always say, and I don't just say this because I was, as I say, in the delivery room for Encore 24 years ago, but it's an incredible company. And it's a company that really crosses all the T's, dots all the I's, and both Encore and ACIS in every division cares about not only their employees, but a great deal about its product. Things can happen while you're traveling. We call it the dirty word of travel. The F word is flexibility. You have to be flexible. Things will change, schedules will change day to day. The tour managers will work very, very closely with the lead of each bus from AC Reynolds High School to make sure that the pacing is right for each and every day. In addition to all these other things that I've mentioned, you also have your 3 concert arrangements. And when we arrange concerts in venues that commonly have concerts for the locals to go to. And they are fully arranged concerts, arranged by our Rome office in this case. And they built these incredible relationships with local artists, organizations, and musical ensembles. That way, we always have not only appropriate venues for our different kinds of ensembles that travel with us, but also great audiences, great appreciative audiences, and even on occasion, opportunity for exchange with local ensembles, which is really nice, and get to meet other musicians. The kids get to meet other musicians, that are interested in the same things they are. So always, I jokingly said to Cliff and to Teresa the other day, but it's true, when you're on this tour, if you feel like you're being followed, you are. Because we are going to have local staff from our Rome office that was devoted and is already devoted to laying the groundwork for a successful performance tour. So those colleagues of mine will then be there kind of following the tour, because they want to arrive at each destination, and especially where the concerts are, to make sure before a rehearsal that the rehearsal is everything set up like a professional rehearsal before a professional concert, that all the advertisement has been properly done to get a great audience, that everything is set and ready. That way, Cliff can get up and conduct and just worry about that. Now, there's not a lot to worry about. Conduct the orchestra. I mean, the symphonic band, I'm sorry. And it's really important. We take all of that off their plate so they can concentrate about making music, making great music. In addition to that, Cliff and Teresa already know that each person who signs up for the tour has his or her own account with ACIS for all the payments. And we're going to go through the payment plan in just 1 minute. And they will be online. Each person will be able to make all payments with either a Visa or a MasterCard. Or you have another option, which you'll see on the final page. And that additional option is an auto pay. And with the auto pay, it allows you to enter, when you create your account online, it allows you to enter all of your information for your banking account that you would like to use to make payments on your account throughout. And when you do so, when you elect the auto pay, not only is it really easy, it's set it and forget it, that you are able to know that your payments are being made on a monthly basis, or maybe 2 times a month, whatever you select. But when you do so, it tells you what your payments will be.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi. It will tell you what your payments will be. It'll calculate that all the way down through. While using the payment plan, people will need to have their accounts paid about 90 days before the tour in December of 2025. But if you elect the auto pay, you have until 45 days prior to the departure of the tour to make your final payment. And you receive a $50 bonus that comes off the price of your tour. Any fundraising that is done by the group, by the boosters, I'm sure so many of you are actively involved with working with people like Teresa in raising valuable money that will then be used to help defray the cost of the tour for the kids. All that money, we just get one check from the administration along with an allocation letter, and we will apply the funds to each and every individual account as directed by the allocation letter. While we're talking about fundraising, there's an amazing thing that we do, we always have done with ENCORE and all of our performing ensembles for 24 years. we will give AC Reynolds Symphonic Band either a trip for two to London or a trip for two to Paris over Veterans Day weekend or Martin Luther weekend of the year prior and the year of the tour. It is round trip airfare for two, hotel accommodations for 3 nights, centrally located 4- and 5-star hotels, breakfast included every day, some meals that are with other people that are traveling on a like thing that that weekend or one of those weekends with us, and some planned activities, but a lot of free time where you'll be able to enjoy either of these cities. This is something that groups, ensembles around the country have used now for 24 years to raise a lot of money running this as a raffle. So they already know that they've got to gather all the information from the state to make sure they know how to run a raffle in your state. Another thing that's included. Rather than going through and reading to you, actually I wouldn't read it, I wrote it, so I know it by heart, and I love Italy, top of the boot to the bottom, to the very heel. You're going to, for those of you that haven't been, you're getting the really the amazing taste, and we have to say taste because eating is everything. Eating is love, especially in Italy, and you're getting incredible different cities. Venice, what they call the Queen of the Adriatic. Really, all the Byzantine influence. It's really incredible. I feel like you've never had over 150 islands joined by bridges connecting, and you will get lost. And that's part of the magic of Venice. You won't get lost if you're with the tour manager. They know it like the palm of their hand, like the back of their hand, as they say. So not only will you be able to be there, but you're going to be able to do what performing ensembles can do that no other traveling group can do. And that is give back to the community you're visiting. And when you're giving back to the community you're doing that in music. And that's really, really unique. Then you'll be traveling into Tuscany and you'll have a couple of nights in Florence. It's really the home, the capital of the Renaissance. And there you will see incredible things like Michelangelo's David, and you'll even visit other places in Tuscany, like Pisa, and see the Leaning Tower, and also like Lucca, the birthplace of Puccini, the opera composer. So in addition to that, you're going to end the tour with your final nights of the tour in Rome. Really, now Rome being the capital of Italy, of course. And remember that the history, while they call it the Eternal City because for over 2,000 years it's been inhabited, it is also the capital, and a newer capital than, say, Washington, D.C., because Italy as a unified country is much younger than the United States. Before it was many feudal states with capitals. In each of these major cities, AC Reynolds Symphonic Band will be presenting concerts for local audiences. So, like I said, in addition to all the things included in the tour that we've talked about, we also have the inclusions of all of the preparations, venue rental and allocation, also all the advertisement costs. Everything you would need to run a successful tour is also included in the price of the tour. One thing I didn't mention, of course, like I said, getting you from point A to point B has been this incredible local bus driver with the help of they will be like family at the end, your tour managers. And all your gratuities to them are also included. So you're going to see here on the final page, first of all, you can see our website, that, as we saw at the top of this PDF, how do I register? You're wondering. Now, there is a start time. So there's a beginning and an end to everything. The registration for this group is kind of a little different than when I meet with other groups. So we can say, oh, go on tonight, go on tomorrow and sign up. No, registration for the group begins on May 25th because we are finalizing all the details with our database for 2026. And we want to make sure it's up and running and efficient. That way, when you go on there on May 25th, you're going to be able to enter the requested information. As you see here, click on register now. It's going to bring you to a trip site. I'll also be able to, just before this, release more information about the trip site that is specifically for the landing page of all the members traveling with the AC Reynolds Symphonic Band. And you'll have a QR code at that time. At this time, you will go to our website, click on register now. It'll ask you for information like the group leader's name, Cliff Dodson. Also, the group ID number, 329119. Important information, you have it right here. And it's all what's going to be requested as you sign up. The full cost of the tour, with all these inclusions that I talked about, is due by December 1st of 2025. So you have just under 2 years for full payment, which is great. Helps with the time that you'll need for fundraising, etc. The full price of the tour, and it will not go up, is $48.79. The reason why we can lock in our prices is that we have a brilliant financial team that buys foreign currency well in advance, so we can lock in prices. The only additional prices are some really important things to read about. Again, I said, please visit our website. One of the things that you can download is the registration booklet, and also the cancellation policies and the cancellation insurances that are optional. One being a $35 per diem, so it is $315 per person, or the Ultimate Protection Plus at $400, $450 a person. It's incredible. No other company has this offering. If you elect the Ultimate Protection Plus plan, you can cancel up to 4 days prior to the departure of the tour and receive full refund, less the cost of the insurance for any reason at all. And it is money that comes back from us. And then we have a special arrangement with our insurer, Zurich, to be reimbursed by them for our contribution, which really comes back from the insurance company. We do this, that way it's less hassle for you, and it's one-stop shopping. We take care of it, and we take care of you the way we would if you were going on the tour and didn't have to cancel, God forbid. Those are optional. Reading about insurances is not interesting, but I do encourage you to download those online and read about them cover to cover, because it's valuable information to make, a very informed fiscal decision. Also, for any adults that are traveling and wish to have their own room, everything is priced on doubles, or what we say doubles or twins, either one bed for a couple or twins for 2 people sharing a room. So a single room supplement for the entire tour is $770 additional dollars. So the last thing I'll talk about, and hopefully preemptively answered a bunch of questions before we open it up briefly for questions, is the payment plan. We've really worked this customized. Again, if you're going to do the auto pay, then you select what the payments will be and at what pace. But starting in May of this year, $125, and then another $125 a couple months later in July, and then it does go up to $500 per payment straight through to November of 2025, and then whatever is left, the final, that says 12/15, sorry, it really is 12/1/25. However, we always work with people. If you've made a really conscious effort and you need to be a little behind, we'll work with you on a case-to-case basis. Don't think that we're a big bad company, because really we're kind of a small, we're kind of a big feeling small company. We have a broad reach, but we really treat this like a small business, and we care about the individuals going. So reach out to us at any time, and our client services, you'll see all those connections online, are there to help always. So don't hesitate if you have questions. Now, speaking of questions, if you wanted to now unmute and please, maybe you can wave your hand. If I do notice that, I'm going to confess
Actually,
that I might be one of your most
Glenn,
technologically. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you go over the itinerary real quick, just like what we're doing each day?
I sure can. Because I think a lot of questions other than that, may have been already answered. So this is a 10-day tour. And with that, you have your first day and your last day are reserved for air. So that's your air travel from here in the States, leaving from Charlotte, and you will have a connection, and then flying, depending on what the airline is, we can book the air 11 months prior to the departure of the tour. So that's when you will be able to see online on your own account all updates. You'll be able to see hotels, etc. We fly you right.
How long does it take to fly from Charlotte?
Well, it really depends on your connections that you're going to have, right? So you, chances are you will have a connection overseas. Say we're using an airline like Lufthansa or even United. There could be a connection either in Frankfurt or in Munich. Now, when you have a connection, you're going to have at least 2 hours layover, which you want, because once you enter into the EU, you go through customs, and that way you don't have to do that in Italy. There is an advantage to connecting overseas. So the whole flight, you're flying for maybe 9 hours, anywhere from 8 to 9 hours ish, depending on the trade winds, and plus your layovers. You will arrive in Venice on day 2. Yep, that's a jet lag day. Someone once said that travel by air is nature's way of making you look like your passport photo. Well, that's what day 2 is all about. And I hate to use the pun, but it's a day to get your feet wet. And what better city to do that in than Venice? Your tour managers are going to be there at arrivals after you've collected your luggage and gone through the secure places of the airport. You will see them at arrival. They're going to be carrying signs, making themselves very, very obviously visible. Your tour managers are going to be there to greet you. However many buses you have, same amount of tour managers. They're going to bring you then to meet your bus drivers and your buses, and you will transfer to your hotel. Now, depending upon the arrival, you may or may not be able to check into your hotel straight away. So either way, whether you can and have a moment to freshen up, or whether you can't and you leave all the baggage and go, this is a day you really want to fight that fatigue, and your tour managers are going to take you on a walking tour to highlight the wonderful things there in Venice, like St. Mark's Square, St. Mark's Basilica, which is insane. It's just got all this incredible Byzantine influence. If you want to walk over the many bridges, like the and view other incredible things like the Bridge of Sighs, which connects the Doge's palace. The Doge once was the leader, kind of like the king of Venice, to the prison. And they call it the Bridge of Sighs, very famous. It's got this little window because it was the last view of Italy, of Venice, that the prisoners could see before going into the prison. So they'd always give, of course, a sigh. Then that night, by then you've had time to really freshen up, and you should be kind of on time, but you're still fighting that fatigue, your tour manager will bring you to a local restaurant for your first great meal at a local restaurant on day 2, because day 3 things really, really pick up. You are then really there in Venice. It's one of the places in Italy that really the tour managers do most of the sightseeing with you. They will take you on a wonderful, wonderful walking tour, introduce you, kind of familiarize yourself with this incredible city that is like an archipelago. All these islands connected by these ornate bridges, and maybe some of you might want to just hang around St. Mark's Square and marvel at the different cafes and the lively activity and the live music. Or some of you may want to then also take advantage of some of the things we'd be offering, like seeing a Venetian glass blowing demonstration on Murano, which is another island that is famous for this incredible craft, this incredible art of glass blowing. So that's really something important to see, because then this is your last night in Venice. So it's really incredible that you will be able to give a public performance that evening at one of the wonderful venues of Venice. Because the next day on Sunday, you're going to be going down into Tuscany. And
he's talking.
Yeah. And when you're on your way down to Venice, down to Florence, your tour managers, again, will give you valuable information about your next destination, about it being really the heartbeat of the Italian Renaissance, or Renaissance around the world. We got so much influence from them. And then that's going to be complemented, because like all good education, it's layered and there is some repetition. So your tour managers will have set you up for what you're going to hear from a local guide or local guides, one per motor coach, that will meet the group at a designated area in Florence for a walking tour of this incredible city. And you're going to notice right away, whoa, same country, but this is so unique and so different from what we just experienced in Venice. And that's the magic of this country. It's really about beauty. It's really about the wonderful food. It's really about art, because Italy has over 75% of the world's art is contained here in Italy. So your walking tour with the tour manager, with the local guides, is going to be really all-inclusive, from the incredible Duomo. What they call a Duomo is the major cathedral of the town. And in that, you'll learn about its building. You'll learn about its builder. You will then know that it was and still is the heartbeat of Florence, and it's called Santa Maria dei Fiori, St. Mary of the Flowers. You'll also then have timed entrances. They'll split this large group by bus to go to an incredible museum called the Accademia. And the Accademia houses, a lot of religious art, particularly, and one of the most amazing statues you might ever see, a work of Michelangelo. Again, we're talking about the Renaissance. The Renaissance, really genius, who, even though he painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel that you'll see when you're in Rome, he considered himself a sculptor. And when you see the David sculpted out of one piece of marble from Carrara in Tuscany, you'll know why he considered himself really this to be a sculptor. So this is a full day, ending with dinner at a local restaurant and the overnight. The next day, while you will be overnighting in Florence, you're going to get out of Florence and visit other places in Tuscany, that being, as I mentioned before, Pisa, known, of course, for its Leaning Tower, and you'll get your funny photo ops in there at the what they call Piazza dei Miracoli, or the Square of Miracles. And I guess it's because it's a miracle that this building hasn't fallen over, but it hasn't. And also that day, you'll be going to another wonderful city, a great city, I always say, to have students. It's really manageable in size. It's got a wall all the way around it that you can walk upon and kind of look at the city from its outside in. And it's called Lucca. Lucca is not only this beautiful Tuscan city, but it's also the birthplace of very prolific opera composer Giacomo Puccini, one of what they call the verissimo opera composers, meaning true to life. And you will learn a lot about Puccini this day, because then another great musical experience, you're going to give your second concert in Italy, there in Lucca, birthplace of Giacomo Puccini, for a great, very appreciative audience. Next day, you are going to be traveling, and you're not only going to leave Tuscany, but you're going to visit two. You're going to be entering and driving through one and ending in another, two regions of Italy. One being going to Assisi in Umbria, the region of Umbria. You've left Tuscany and Florence. You're going into Umbria and visiting Assisi. Many people know about the incredible Saint Francis of Assisi. Really amazing life story, which you're going to learn about the way people did in the early faithful did. You're going to go into this incredible basilica, and basilicas and large churches, they were built to inspire. Many people, when they were built, were illiterate. So it was through the use of art, sculpture, and these amazing frescoes that were done on the ceiling of the Basilica of St. Francis. Frescoes, as they call it, because it's done fresco, or fresco means fresh, meaning they were painted on wet plaster. So very incredible process. And you'll learn all about, just by looking at these frescoes, you'll learn all about the life of St. Francis. After time to get lunch on your own in Assisi that day, you're going to continue down into the region of Lazio, and the capital of all of Italy, Rome, the Eternal City. This is where I used to live. It's like a second home. It is, yeah, it's some people say, oh, it's so chaotic and bustling. Yes, it is. It's a heartbeat of Italy, and it's really amazing. You learn about the energy, the harmony that exists in Rome. Learn about the harmony that exists in Rome between these many centuries, because where else in the world can you stand in a square, a piazza, and you're going to be looking at places, you're going to be looking at buildings. One is a Renaissance building and a square designed by Michelangelo that then touches an ancient Roman apartment building that is adjacent and touching a 19th century monument that is, called the nickname the Wedding Cake Monument. Really, it's a tribute to Vittorio Emanuele, who was the unifying king of Italy. And Mussolini, not the nicest guy, he built this. And the unfortunate thing about where it's placed, it's actually built on top of ancient ruins that they can never get to again. But Mussolini needed to prove he was a big guy. So there you go. And you are going to be introduced to Rome that day. After dinner at a local restaurant, your tour managers are going to be able to take you on a walking tour that night of what we call the Baroque Rome. Baroque Rome has these incredible fountains. Like, look, when you look at the front, at this page, there's a Trevi fountain, Fontana di Trevi. And, everybody knows that old song from the 50s and 60s, 3 coins in a fountain. This is the fountain. So this is where you want to throw your coins and make a wish. And your wish will probably be either for a really good gelato at one of the wonderful gelateria or ice cream shops that are there nearby, or to come back to Rome. This day, your next day, you're going to have city sightseeing again with a local guide. And they're going to introduce you. You're going to have timed entrances like you did at the Accademia, timed entrances to see the Vatican Museum and St. Peter's Basilica. And then again, kind of the pattern, wonderful pattern, dinner at a local restaurant, and the overnight in Rome. Sorry, my scrolling skills are subpar. And then another thing, and it was really great because I was working in the writing of this itinerary with Teresa, and she used to live in Italy. She knows it really well. And she's like, there's my favorite museum. And I said, you mean the Galleria Borghese? And she said, oh my God, yes. And I said, that's my favorite museum. Yes, Vatican Museum is vast and amazing, but this museum is extra special. You know, you've seen these incredible things the day before, like the Vatican Museum, St. Peter's Basilica, and also the Colosseum, where these chariot races would take place and the gladiator wars. But going to this, you're going to forget that you're in a major city because there's this beautiful park all around the Borghese Museum and this beautiful palace built just for this family's art. Works of Caravaggio, works of Bernini. It's just astounding. And the way that it's presented, the way that it's displayed, you're actually able to walk around these statues and admire them and see the nuances of them, see how it really looks like stone that has been turned into flesh. It's astounding. Then there will be some time this afternoon where the group will assemble. Those not playing, of course, the other family members and families, during time like this, you can have free time to take a stroll or sit in a cafe, do some shopping for souvenirs. The group will have, the ensemble, the symphonic band will have a very important final rehearsal before their final concert. One of the proposed concert venues that we use very often is called Sant'Andrea delle Valle and St. Andrew or Andrea. And it's a very historic church that is in the heartbeat of the historical center of Rome. And it also has a tie. Again, good education circles back to Puccini, and we know where he was born in Lucca that you already visited. And Puccini's Tosca, one of his most famous operas, Tosca used to go to Sant'Andrea delle Valle to pray every day. So this is a great place that you could possibly do the final concert. And then on the last day, transfer to the airport. You, just like one of us were there in the States to help you check in, your tour managers help you check in for your return flight. We're with you all the way. And that's it. That's the Reader's Digest version of this. And I know we've gone over time, but I think I might have answered questions in advance. But please, now's the time to sing out. And ask me, you know, tour-related, itinerary, company-related questions. I'd be happy to answer while I'm here.
I have a question.
Yes.
So if registration opens on May 25th of this year, so like in 2 weeks, right? What is the window that we have to decide if we want to / are able to register? Like when does the last day you can sign up?
Well, you know, that's a case-by-case basis, but because the planning is 2 years out, you've got a long time, actually.
But
I know they're
but then with the payment plan, it says the first payment is due 5/25, which is the day that registration opens. So if I'm not sure that I want to register until, you know, maybe the end of June, and I'm like, okay, we've talked to the family, we think we can do this, let's sign them up, then we're already like behind in the payment plan.
You're not.
So what does that look like?
Okay. It's okay. Everyone, because there are going to be more students coming in, the new students that Cliff was talking about, and they're going to be coming in September, and they won't be registering until September. So it could be, and you can catch up. Like I said, we're going to work with you. Maybe this would be a good, you know, opportunity for you to consider the auto pay. Then you can set your own payment schedule.
Yep.
And remember, if you have a couple people from your family that are traveling, you need to create an account for each and every person and enter either the credit card information or the banking information for each and every person individually. So if you're going to go on the payment plan, you can still register with 125. I do recommend that as soon as you can, you catch up. But again, contact us with client services, say, I just registered. I know I registered later than some, but we're doing this. They'll make a note in your file. It's really that simple. No one will ever tell you when you call us or reach us or go on the chat. No one will ever say, oh, I got to get back to you. I have to talk to my manager. We're all empowered to make change for the better. So don't worry, Lisa.
Okay, that's great.
We can help
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Who's next?
And can I just jump in on that? And just as I understand it here, and just to make sure everybody's clear, the payment plan is basically what we're recommending that people use to help them pace their contributions to this trip. But you can also opt to go in and do the monthly even payments. So I think the even monthly payments, if you started paying in May or June, are around $230 to $250 a month.
Yeah, I think technically it's like $251. Also, to piggyback, and sorry to interrupt, Cliff, is that because of the fundraising that's going to go on and things like that, the final payment will more than likely not be what you think the final payment will be, because other funds, if you participated in the fundraising, will have been applied to your account or to your child's account.
And
so
let me jump in on that. It's just like if we do a fundraiser and we make $10,000, we will have a track of every kid and how much they earned through that fundraiser. We send the $10,000 to the company. They will apply that money to your child's account. And then you will see the balance go down.
One more question about this. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
so
it's okay.
If you don't do the auto pay, which would be regulated payments of our pre-specified amounts.
Yeah.
And then, but you didn't stick to this recommended payment schedule. As long as you're dumping money into that account and
we got you.
putting, like, I'm thinking things like tax refund time. Like maybe you're making smaller refunds and then you get
there might be some months, Lisa, that you're making maybe a little less, and maybe you contact us and we put a little note in your file. But you're right, tax refund. You're right. Instead of buying new
there's
furniture,
flexibility in how much we pay and when we pay it, as long as we pay.
Yes, ma'am. At 100%. Yep. And like I said, case by case basis near the end. And if you're doing the payment plan and you get to December and you're like, I think I'm going to be able to pay, I'm going to have it all paid in January. And you contact us, if you've only paid $25, then we might say, are you really going to go? But if you've already paid like $3,000 or $2,000, you can say, obviously you're committed. You don't want to lose this money. You're going to do that. And sure, we'll make a note in your file. We have you. Takes a village, right? Teamwork is dreamwork. Any other questions? Either everyone forgot that they were on mute, or
there's questions in the chat. When do you need a passport information by?
Thank you. You know what? Didn't I say that I'm probably not the most technologically savvy person? Okay, yes, Vatican is part of the thing. Yep, and they do have, and I'm sorry, and the question was, because they're
about the passport. It's just about the passport.
So passport.
We will start the passport process. We'll go over all that
now
with everybody.
Now, you know what?
Yeah.
If you know you're going, and it sounds like, oh, we got plenty of time. If you know you're going, do your passport now. Don't wait. You have no idea how many travelers out of our travelers every year that there's always some that we get that emergency of like, oh my God, I don't have my passport. Yeah, I don't have it. it's not ready, it's not back, because they waited too long.
I want to say it's 3 to 6 months, right? In about 3 to 6 months.
No, not always. If you do the expedited, which the thing I like about expediting, and I did mine when I renewed, I got it in almost to the day a month, and you can pay for return of your passport via FedEx, and to ensure it, I kind of like that security of knowing where stuff is, and that it's on its way. So
that's a good question.
I have a question.
yeah.
So if you are not selected as a chaperone, or if you are not going as a chaperone, you're just going as a parent, is it the same cost, or do I have to buy plane myself and hotel myself?
Yeah, no, if you are a parent traveling on the tour, then you would pay the tour price, and you're going to be traveling with the group. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, Teresa, and also Cliff, and have then, we'll be talking to all the parents and all the families, really, because they want to make sure that that it's open to not only the student musicians, but also the families.
Yeah. So if you are not a student member of the band, I do want you to fill out the application that I posted in the chat, and I'll send that out to all the parents as well. So anybody that's going on the trip, we just want to, we are taking a lot of people, but we do want to make sure that everybody understands what it means to be a chaperone on the trip. So again, if you're an adult and you want to go on this trip, fill out the application. I will get back to everybody very, very soon.
Yep. So again, it's one of the questions, and Lisa had posted it on the chat. Yes, you're paying the price of the tour. If you're not a chaperone, it doesn't mean like this isn't a lottery. If you want to go, they really would love to have, people to experience this. For many, it could be a once in a lifetime trip, not once in a lifetime that you're going to Italy, perhaps you're going to go back another time, maybe, but as a family and as your kids being teenagers and really experiencing this together as a family, it's really, really an incredible opportunity that you really want to take advantage of if you can. And if a member has global entry, yes. So that is something, check with. I always say, I don't like to answer too many questions about securities and whatnot. Check and see what the ever updating requirements and the ever updating regulations of security and are in each airport. Also, will we all be on the same flights? Well, that's the goal, depending. If we're going to be 70, 80, etc. It depends on, how. That's why it's also important that people decide. That way, when we know when it is 11 months out and we can book those flights, that we're going for the, the projected numbers of the group. It's going to be our goal to get everyone on the same flight. Sometimes large groups have to be split, but you're not split like 10 and then 100. You split as evenly as possible, and many times it's only on the transatlantic. We also make sure that if there is a split in the flights, that students aren't unaccompanied. So they always have adults with them. We want to put families together. We'll ask all kinds of questions that will come from my other team members working with Cliff and with Teresa. And what is really important to know in that is they'll give us the bus splits, who's on each bus. They'll give us if there is a flight split. who's on each flight. That way they know, and you all know, that everyone is grouped together. We also understand one question that we ask, we can't assign specific seats. Group contract rates do not allow us to do so. The way the airlines assign it are alphabetical. That's why we need to know other little details, like if people don't share the same surname, couples don't share the same surname, or the kids don't have the same surname as the parents, they might not necessarily be seated together on the plane by the airlines. But if we alert them, they many times will do that for us. So not to worry, that's how we allocate. Yep, there it is. Very good. Thank you. There's the information about the tour price. The additional fees, everything is right there. Any other questions? Any other questions, folks?
I will just say, I don't know, Teresa, if you want to speak at all, but this trip has gotten the approval of Teresa, the stamp of approval, and she lived in Italy for 6 years, and she thinks this is a very well put together trip, and the pricing is actually great. So, but I don't want to speak for you, Teresa. If you want to speak, you're welcome to do that.
Yep. No, you said it. Yeah. I was just telling him today how wonderful the itinerary is. And I mean, I wouldn't change a thing. So.
All right, great. Is there anybody else that has any questions before we hang it up? Glenn, we want to thank you for putting this all together.
My pleasure. Really, my pleasure. And yeah, it's not a home office. Well, not a home office because I don't usually work from home. The only thing I do from home are these nighttime Zooms, so I can still be home. And but so welcome to Boston during this, and welcome to my home. But thank you all so very much. It is really a testament when you get, I know it says that there were over 30 people, but that many of you were in groups or families. So thank you. That's really a testament to the excitement of the tour. Samantha, you had a question? Oh, a little applause. Thank you. Thank you. We like that, right? I'm a performer too. We all love applause. So thank you all so very, very much. Any questions, come to us. And remember, when you go online, but you can go online and read about stuff, but don't go online and try and register, right? Magic date, May 25th. And that's because our database is being finalized for the travel year of 2026. So please don't try and register because you got frustrated. Just read the information, educate yourself. And then May 25th, that's the big day. And that's the big day you can all go on and register. I appreciate you all for being here. It was a pleasure to spend this hour with you to talk about one of my favorite places in the entire world. And have a great night. And bon appetit or buon appetito if you are about to have dinner together. But thank you very much. I appreciate you. And it was a pleasure. And it's going to be a pleasure to work with you through Teresa and Cliff over the next couple of years. So thank you. Grazie mille. And we will talk to you soon. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.